Influencers that went to Electric Picnic over the weekend are getting absolutely crucified for not speaking out against Coca-Cola and these massive corporations that, of course, back Israel's destruction of Palestine. So today we have a video from Anna Livia posting an apology video last night in an attempt to appease the right or whatever. As we all know, that won't work. Let's read the video actually that was behind this. So this is from Terry K. I never knew anything about the influencers, or I don't really follow any influencers because I'll be perfectly honest, guys, every single influencer in this country is bought and paid for. They don't have their own unique voice. If they speak out against any immigration, any sort of woke stuff, they will be fired and they'll never work again in Ireland. Not me though, and not a lot of the other, great patriots that you see in Ireland. A lot of us aren't bought and paid for, okay? I make my own and I get along my own stuff. These people have no ethics, no morals for anything. All they care about is this. The money is their God. They don't have any religion. The money is their God. It says here, Irish influencers are under attack. So Irish content creators like Anna Livia McGivern, who has 620,000 followers, are being piled on and cancelled by the women supporting women liberal lefties. So this is a left-wing attack. So this is the left-wing attack. Now, the left-wing, of course, support Palestine, but they also support trans rights and this kind of stuff where different religions don't mix with that stuff. They don't support LGBT rights. No religion outside really of, let's be honest guys, outside of the Western world, nobody really supports gay rights and that kind of thing. Okay, we are one of a kind in Europe and Australia and Northern Ireland and North America. So it's very strange that these people would be supporting the same people that want to hurt them. It's just very strange. So they're being attacked for attending Electric Picnic because EP, Electric Picnic, sponsored by Coca-Cola, Heineken and Schweppes, which they demand should be boycotted because of links to Israel. So does McDonald's. There's a lot of people, Stormzy, a lot of different influencers in Ireland as well, that got big sponsorships from McDonald's, and they obviously are supporting certain countries in the Middle East, and it's pretty terrible, guys. Lauren Whelan has faced vile abuse as well and threats from her 1.6 million followers, but they don't care. Let's be honest. Did anyone think that Lauren Whelan or any of these people give a shit? We had Protein Boar, whatever his name is. He tried to literally bring in hate speech laws. He wants the country to have no speech as long as he's getting paid for it. He doesn't care. He will say anything as long as they're getting paid. That's just crazy shit. I mean, it doesn't get called out by people on the right. People on the right as well, for some reason, a lot of people, not my viewers are very, very smart, but a lot of people don't understand that, they're not putting people like Maura Higgins under the scrutiny. They're not putting massive creators under the scrutiny, which they should be. They should be saying, hey, Maura Higgins, why aren't you speaking out against the crazy shit that's happening in this country? We may not have a country soon. It's just crazy stuff. Of course, these idiots cheer on Kneecap for playing an EP, but also took their outrage on the content creators on smartphones manufactured in the Middle East. It's kind of strange. My whole thing is this. Kneecap they were like headliner acts at EP, right? But they also are super anti the country in the Middle East. So I don't know how that can be the case. There's a big conflict of interest there. Very, very strange. Very, very strange. Let's hear what she says about it.
Hey everyone, as we can all see, I have took a bit of time off social media, and that was actually always planned that I would be taking this week and next week off social media after a really busy couple of months, like on the run up to the wedding holidays, really busy with work, and kids getting back to school was my priority. So I actually had always scheduled the next 2 weeks off. I'm sure a lot of you are aware that I went to EP last weekend with a certain brand, and myself and a lot of other content creators have came under scrutiny. And I just want to start this off by saying, I am not the most intelligent, I'm not the most educated person on what is going on right now, but what I do know is that what is going on right now in the world is inhumane. And that being said, as a person with influence, I do have a responsibility to do a background check on any company that I collab with. And a lot of these larger companies own a lot of subsidiary companies within that one company that myself and a lot of other people may not always be aware of. I have always tried to use my platform and the influence I have to share, donate, raise awareness on everything that is going on in Palestine right now. And I appreciate that there's so many people out there that are doing their best to boycott certain brands. And my intention was never ever to try and influence people to break these boycotts. in the world we live in right now, a lot of these massive companies that we use every single day have like huge links to Israel, which makes it feel like it's impossible to avoid them. But going forward, I will try my best and I will do my research and I will do everything I can to make sure that I am only working with brands that align with me and my morals. I appreciate everyone's support, all the lovely messages that I've got, and I think collectively we can all make a difference. And I feel like there's been a lot of videos out there that have been nasty and hateful, but a lot of them have been educational, and I know that I have learned something from this. I'll be taking another few days off social media just with everything that's going on. I need to get my head right. But yeah, that is just me wanting to weigh in and share things from my side. I love you all.
You know, let's break it down. So the first thing she said is she's stupid. She doesn't understand what's going on in the world. I actually accept that. I used to be big into conspiracies at 14, watching all these different shows, but I wasn't understanding about what was happening in the world until after the lockdowns. Unfortunately, I just was so brainwashed. I was so focused on other things in the world, you know, trying to actually make it in this country. It's so hard to do anything, get a job. I couldn't even get a job from it for a long time that could pay any bills, you know. So I understand that, I accept that. But then she said she's going to do her due diligence and not work with any brands that are supporting that country in the Middle East. But guys, that's basically every brand. Like, let's be honest, I don't believe that for a second. She should have just left it at that. Let's not say for any one moment that any of these Irish content creators give a shit about anything that's happening. Guys, they do not care. I see them DJs. I see all these guys, scumbags. I see them in Dublin just like walking around like their shit doesn't stink. They're literally funding and getting funding from these crazy countries and these crazy ideological places. They don't care as long as they make money. I want to stress this. When you see any content creator, Garen, all these different people, they all do not care unless they're making money. That's it. That's the bottom line. And the sad thing is they could make maybe half as much money if they just, if they just were more ethnically better, but they wouldn't be making as much. So that's it. Now they will do anything for the euro. It's so disgusting and so sad. Now this one was crazy. And speaking of influencers, there's many, many thousands in Ireland, but let's talk about a British one, a really famous British guy who's probably the biggest creator in the country, Big John. Big John is the big sellout. He's saying, I can see why people put the flags up, but he's calling people up, right wing and upsetting to some people. So he doesn't agree with putting up flags. I mean, this is, again, the grade A brainwashing that has happened to all these influencers in the country, in Ireland, the UK, and the US. They're all completely brainwashed. Let's listen to what Big John says about putting up flags in Ireland and the UK.
I love my country. I'm a proud Englishman. And when you see the flags going up, I can see why people are doing it, because a lot of institutions around the country won't put up the flags. So people are sort of taking it amongst themselves. And it's normal people that are doing it. But every now and again, it blows over. You get the isolated incident, which isn't good, it is upsetting.
So did you see
What's the isolated incident? Like, putting up flags is just your patriotic duty as a man, as a British man or an Irish man, because you love your country. Why would you not love your country? You don't want to see it get destroyed by these crazy loonies. And that's the mainstream media. The mainstream media are brainwashing these people. They're paying the money to speak out against the people on the right. That's it. That's plain and simple just what it is.
It is upsetting.
So did you see a picture of a Chinese takeaway in York saying, go home?
Yeah, I saw that online. And I think the lady had been running it for 15 years. She's lived here, she's worked hard. And I'm associated with Chinese takeaways, but I would have felt the same whether it had been an Indian, Caribbean, Mexican, Greek, Turkish. People that are working here shouldn't be targeted like that. No one should be targeted like that. And it just sort of hit a nerve. And I'm going up to York in a couple of weeks. I'm going to go into the takeaway and give them a bit of custom.
I understand you shouldn't be absolutely lambasting everybody that's not from the country. Obviously, there's people working and doing that kind of thing. You can't be crazy running around the place telling people to get out and this kind of thing. But at the same time, guys, like putting up flags, there's never anything wrong with that. Some guy saying, get out of my country, this kind of thing, it's obviously not the same as putting up flags. So he's kind of conflating two different issues there. I don't really know what the hell he's trying to get at there. He's trying to play that middle ground, which everybody knows that middle ground just means that you're on the left. It just means that you're against the right wing. Plain and simple. It's just cowardice. So Big John as well. All these different people sell out. And speaking of selling out the country, the reason why it's so detrimental to not speak out against the immigration and the crazy woke, crazy shit that's going on in this country is because things like this will happen. I have 4 different incidents here today to show you. The first one is a Roma gypsy having a meltdown on her phone in a public place. This one's from Paul Nolan on X. Let's watch.
Look at this thing. This fucking mad thing over here, believe.
You know, there's no sense of decorum. There's no sense of going home and expressing your thoughts and feelings with your families. Just absolutely crazy activity in the middle of the streets. And that's the people that we're importing. Roma and Bulgarian gypsies. The next one, we have a battle royale, flipping a WWE fighting match in the streets of Carrickmacross in Monaghan. And Supermax staff are also involved. So the whole flipping town came out to get involved in this flipping WWE SummerSlam super match. I mean, there's like 10 people fighting right there. Look at this. There's like 10 people fighting. Okay, more like 6 or 7, but absolutely crazy. I mean, this is the kind of shit, again, every single day it's more and more. Here we have another video from these are all from like 2 days ago. These are all from like yesterday and today. So, crazy stories. This is also another video of some illegal, crazy migrant going crazy on the buses in Dublin and jumping on the bus. Let's watch it. Oh. Crazy stuff. What the Spider-Man? I've noticed a pattern of Spider-Man behavior with these illegal immigrants. They're jumping from roofs, they're jumping from lorries onto houses, they're jumping onto cars. It just seems crazy. So he caused like 3 different flipping crazy attacks in less than a minute. He's hanging onto the bus windscreen wiper trying to break it off. Then he jumps onto a Mercedes-Benz trying to break the windscreen. Then he jumps onto a van trying to break the windscreen. I mean, it's just crazy. This is just out of control behavior that this country is not solving. Okay, the last one we have here is a junkie trying to rob a lad's bike on Capel Street. And this is the homegrown violence. Not only do we have all these crazy immigrants running around trying to sexually assault women and kids, trying to behead us in the street, trying to kill the men, we also have our own crazy drug addicts, like massive amounts of drug addicts in Dublin. And they don't care. They're doing heroin. They're openly using syringes. I mean, where's the crackdown on crime here?
And on your man said, I haven't. Well done. Well done. Fair play.
Proper order.
Fair play. Stealing a bicycle.
I mean, if someone's stealing a bicycle,
Go on, Rubberneck.
Look, he pulled it off there.
Nice one.
got him in the triangle.
Kill him.
Nice. He got him in the kind of triangle right there, the kind of leg choke. But you know, any sort of self-defense is necessary now because you have crazy crackpots. Not only do we have psychos from other countries, we also have our own people trying to kill us. I mean, it's just crazy. The whole country has gone mad. The crime has definitely increased dramatically, and I believe that the mainstream media isn't shining light on this. That's why we have me and a bunch of other creators on YouTube. Much love to everybody. If they want to support me, hit the join link underneath the video. Become a member today. We have like 21 members, so I really appreciate that love and support because the mainstream media is dead. The mainstream media will never talk about these news stories. And hit that subscribe button. 80% of people aren't subscribed. I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next one, guys. Peace.